Hello YouTubers, this is my next last video for tonight. I know a lot of people have church service on here, and I'm going to try to get something started soon. This Sunday I'm going to post it Saturday night after I come from work. I'm going to read from the book of James. Now an overview a little bit of what James is about. James basically is a man of action. He emphasized the right kind of behavior for a believer. Someone who calls himself or herself a Christian ought to act like it. James believed, and his letter spells out the specifics. You know, he doesn't believe in warm or cold Christians. But anyway, this video here is going to be touching base on why I believe the West is falling, and also I'm going to talk about the 10 Commandments in this video. First off, these are the 10 Commandments. I'm going to give them to everybody in order. These are the ones right here. You shall not worship any other God but Yahweh, Jesus, before me. You shall not make any graven image. That's number 2. You shall not take the name of Yahweh in vain, like vengefully, in other words. You shall not break the Sabbath day, being Sunday. Some cultures is Saturday. You shall not dishonor your parents, is number 5. You shall not murder is number 6. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not commit perjury. And number 10, you shall not covet anything, like, you know, your goods and stuff, because goods are bad because they're idols and images you put before God. But anyway, though, just wanted to say the biggest reason why the West is falling is because there's so many things now going on in our country. Number 1, you know, you have abortions in themselves. I don't care what anybody says, you know, what Sean Hannity says. I was listening to him today, and he says, you know, it should be a woman's choice, and, you know, if you think of it, it's just flat out wrong. I've seen videos here on YouTube. I mean, something that has a heart, you know, breathes, has fingers, you know, has a purpose. I mean, you know, it's murder. I don't care what all those evolutionists say, you know, out there, you know, the ones that say, it's a woman's choice, but that's just self-centeredness, and it goes against all Christ's teachings. Plus, I don't like the fact that they use stuff towards stem cell research. You know, it's like the Antichrist, kind of like I said, you know, total dominance. You know, they want, he wants complete power, and he's going to try to perform miraculous miracles soon. You know, you got the cloning, I guess, recently. The FDA approved, you know, they can have cloned meat, I guess, without labeling, which is totally bullcrap. They said it briefly on CBS a while ago. Katie Couric read for it briefly, so like nobody could see it. Another reason, you know, people just having no disrespect for their parents, just parents not having any more devotion, dedication, you know, family split up, you know, because of financial reasons, you know, people being cold towards one another, jealousy, you know, days of Cain and Abel, it's been around. You know, you shall not commit any murder. I mean, look at the big stars, you know, they always get off the hook, you know, people like O.J. Simpson, you know, and, you know, God's just sick and tired of it, you know, just, you know, it's really bad, you know, it goes on constantly in our culture. The rich get rich, the poor get poor. Just not supposed to do that. You shall not commit adultery. I'm guilty of this one myself. Everybody has some bad sins, but in Western culture, it's just glorified. Like I said, I was watching this scene on Oxygen. I breezed through the channel the other day. The guy was like, the girl's like filling the guy's crotch up there, practically having sex. They just absolutely love this stuff, and they glorify all the porn industries. That's why Western civilization is falling apart. Family structure is shot. They basically teach in public schools that, you know, abstinence is not the way to go, that, you know, it's okay to have sex, you know, with a condom, and it's not 100% efficient, and there's no proof that it is. People can still get pregnant. You know, I have an aunt myself a while ago who took a pill, got pregnant, so, and it doesn't protect from sexual diseases, and, you know, basically, you know, they just encourage it more than anything else. You shall not steal, you know, a lot of this goes on, you know, especially because I'm poor, you know, the oil prices, you know, billions of dollars, people controlling the resources, you know, people stealing from everyone else. It's money is an idol, they idolize it, it's an illusion. Stealing in general is just flat out wrong, you know. people coveting, you should not covet. The 10th one, people wanting that car, they can't afford it, they charge it, they get in debt, they're out there making money, they're brainwashed, they're not loving their fellow brother, while they're suffering out on the street like the homeless guy, you should not commit perjury, people lying. Bill Clinton is a good example of that. I mean, clearly had an affair back in '98, with his against his wife, and I mean, perjury. He lied under oath, should have been impeached. George Bush also, breaking the Constitution, lying to the American public, about weapons of mass destruction. There's been so much of it, O.J. Simpson getting off the hook, people breaking the Sabbath, it's just shot anymore. I'm guilty of that one, not going to church. But I gotta tell you something. The churches these days are so soft, they don't teach anything about the fear of God, They'd rather worship the physical demons without biblical reason, just like Maz Def said, they basically, they just sing, you go into a church, they sing, they don't teach anything on the gospel, the majority of the churches. You shall not have any graven image. That's like, all these kids these days, the piercings all over their face. It's one thing for a woman to have earrings, but like people having piercings all over their face, people having these tattoos, of like rip and stuff that represents evil things like the hip hop culture. People putting other gods before Yahweh, like I said, people putting Buddha before God or whatever the God is, statues, and all this other stuff. It's just, it's just totally wrong. There's so many things. Abortion, the issue of, I know it's might offend some people, but the issue of homosexuality is another one. Sex is clearly between a man and a woman, the book of Genesis, it's one partner, the kingdom of God, even these other people just living these bisexual lifestyles, would rather be, sleeping with three different people, having threesomes, it's all part of it. Western civilization is falling just in general. It's just, just so many bad things. And like I said, a lot of the fuel behind it is Hollywood and the Jewish elite and like the bankers, the Rockefellers, the big CFR, they all want total control over everybody, and they just, no more religion. That's why a few years ago, you heard these stories, these outrageous stories of courts, trying to remove the 10 Commandments, out of the courtrooms, and they use our children in our school systems. Like, I remember I had to write a paper back in one of my high school classes on abortion, what I thought of it. I had to give both pros and cons for it, and I really didn't like giving pros for it because, I'm against abortion and I think it's wrong, and it's just, the school systems try to teach you even, I went to college and all, but if you think of it in itself, a lot of this education stuff is evil because, if you think of it, it teaches to put other gods before other gods. And in general, years ago, it used to be, the woman would stay at home, raise the kids, and some things are good about women, right? And then the man would work, and provide for the family. And now it's like everything's just screwed up these days. You have people that just don't get the nutrition of full Christianity and the family being separated. And it's really sad state of fear. But the thing I was getting at is I told Dad, I says, you just have to survive in the world. It's hard anymore. I'm fortunate I get to preach this stuff. I don't have that much money. I live with my dad, but in general, education in itself, though, is good in a way, but, I think it's bad because, it's not good to have too much knowledge, but it's like enslaving people, too, and thinking about this New World Order because, it totally defunks religion. They teach about bio. They actually, like, people take a lot of bio and math credits, and, evolution teaches basically we evolved from, like, apes and stuff, and, that science is the key to everything. It's kind of like the Antichrist using his power on everybody. But I'm big on education, but for every job it seems like any more to get, and just to survive a recent job you got to have a college education. But in general in itself, man's ideas and stuff, and 6, they give their mind over to the beast, as I talked about in Revelation, 666 and 6, And in general, you know, there's a lot of evil behind it too, because you know, people just used to get hired and make decent wages, and now you know it's hard to make just a decent living because you know they have so much control. And I mean, you know, it's not good to have too much control. It's good to be educated, and if you work hard at it, you deserve to be rewarded. And I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying to put everybody in the system is just totally wrong. It's just fucked up, you know. People just got to get back to obeying the Constitution and the Bible in general. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I love you and good night.